Billionaire insults waitress in German. Stunned when she replies perfectly and calls him out, the evening rush had just begun when the golden lights of the Berlin restaurant reflected softly off the marble floors, the faint hum of soft jazz lingering in the air. Tables filled with laughter, cutlery clinking against porcelain, and the faint scent of roasted herbs floated through the hall. And in the middle of it all, moving swiftly between tables with a calm, practiced grace, was Anna Müller, a young waitress whose tired smile hid 1,000 quiet battles. Her brown hair was tied neatly in a bun, a few loose strands brushing her cheek as she scribbled orders with precision. She had been working here for 3 years, ever since she dropped out of university to care for her sick mother and pay off the debts her father had left behind. That night was supposed to be like any other, a blur of serving dishes, polite nods, and forced smiles. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, respect, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Kindness. Your support helps us share real, inspiring stories that remind the world of the goodness still left in people. Anna noticed him the moment he entered. Leonard Weiss, the billionaire CEO of a global luxury brand known for his cold demeanor and ruthless business style. He was the kind of man whose presence could command a room and freeze it at the same time. He walked in with 2 business associates, his tailored charcoal suit looking like it was cut from shadow itself. They were here for an exclusive dinner meeting, and Anna had been assigned their table. She felt a mix of nervousness and determination. Every shift was a chance to prove herself, and she wasn't about to let her exhaustion or anxiety ruin it. As she approached with her notepad and polite smile, Leonard barely looked at her. His eyes flicked up from his phone, scanning her like she was part of the furniture. When she introduced herself in German and asked if they'd like to start with drinks, he muttered something under his breath. Words meant for his colleagues, but loud enough for her to hear. In German, he said with a faint smirk, "Of course, she's just another small-town girl trying to look professional. Probably has no idea who she's serving." His tone dripped with condescension, his words wrapped in arrogance. His colleagues chuckled softly, not realizing she understood every word. Anna froze for a moment. The sting of humiliation burned deep in her chest. She could have ignored it, swallowed her pride like she always did, and walked away. But tonight, something inside her refused to stay silent. Maybe it was the exhaustion of endless shifts, the years of watching her mother struggle, or the way people like Leonard thought they could measure someone's worth by their uniform. She straightened her posture, steadied her breath, and met his eyes with calm strength. In perfect, fluent German, she replied softly but firmly, "Actually, sir, I do know who I'm serving. I also know that real class isn't measured by money, but by how you treat those who serve you." The table went silent. The jazz faded into a distant hum, and Leonard's smirk vanished. His colleagues looked at each other awkwardly, suddenly fascinated by their menace. For a moment no one spoke. Then, with remarkable composure, Anna smiled politely and continued taking their orders as if nothing had happened. But inside, her heart was racing. She half expected to be called out, fired, or scolded later for speaking back to an elite guest. Yet, strangely, Leonard didn't say a word. He just watched her silently as she moved between tables, his eyes filled not with anger, but something else, maybe guilt, maybe admiration. Throughout the meal, Anna continued to work with quiet grace. She served each dish with professionalism, never once letting her emotions show. But Leonard couldn't focus. Her words kept echoing in his mind. Real class isn't measured by money. It had been years since anyone had dared to speak to him that way. People usually bent over backward to please him, to gain favor, to flatter. But this waitress, this young woman who stood in front of him with dignity and poise, had spoken truth without fear. When dinner ended, Leonard called for the bill. Anna brought it promptly, her expression neutral. But when she returned, Leonard did something unexpected. He stood up. The restaurant fell quiet again as he spoke, this time in English, his voice calm and sincere. "Miss Müller, I owe you an apology." He extended his hand. "You reminded me tonight of something I'd forgotten, that respect has nothing to do with status." Anna blinked, caught off guard. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. But as she shook his hand, the corners of her eyes glistened. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "That means more than you think." The next day, she didn't expect to see him again. But when she arrived for her shift, Her manager called her into the office. Sitting there, waiting, was Leonard. He stood as she entered, holding a folder. "I wasn't joking last night," he said. "You were right. I've built an empire, but somewhere along the way, I forgot how to be human." He handed her the folder. It was a scholarship letter from one of Germany's top universities, fully sponsored in her name. "I heard you left your studies to care for your family. I'd like to help you finish what you started." Tears filled Anna's eyes. She couldn't speak for a moment. Her voice broke when she finally said, "Why would you do this for me?" Leonard's eyes softened. "Because someone finally told me the truth, and I needed to hear it." Over the next few months, Anna's life began to change. She returned to school, studying business and hospitality management. Leonard kept his distance, never expecting anything in return, but quietly ensuring she had the support she needed. Sometimes, she'd see him in the restaurant, this time sitting quietly, greeting staff with genuine smiles, even helping carry his own glass of water. The man who once defined success by wealth had started defining it by humility. Years later, Anna graduated with honors. Her mother, now healthy, sat proudly in the front row, wiping tears from her eyes. After the ceremony, Anna found Leonard waiting outside with a small bouquet of flowers. "You proved me wrong," he said. "You didn't just remind me of kindness, you built something stronger with it." Anna smiled, her voice steady. "And you proved me right. It's never too late to change." For a moment, they stood there, two people from opposite worlds who had taught each other the value of respect, redemption, and kindness. As Anna walked away that day, she looked up at the sky and thought about how life has a strange way of bringing lessons in disguise, sometimes through pain, sometimes through confrontation, but always through truth. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Kindness. It helps us spread stories that remind the world that compassion and respect are worth more than gold. In the comments, share one moment when someone's kindness or courage changed your perspective on life. Your story might inspire someone else today.